Alright, good evening folks, it's Enforcer Matt, and welcome back to another short war video, and today we have a massive situation developing right now as multiple NATO countries are being assaulted by Russian drones yet again, and this morning, air raid sirens are sounding in Poland as officials issue civil warnings to the population to seek shelter as Russian drones are believed to have entered Polish airspace for the second time in mere days. Meanwhile, Romania is also sending out emergency alerts as a Russian drone has been tracked entering their airspace as F-16s rapidly scramble to shoot them down. Meanwhile, Russia's escalating the Zapad 2025 military exercises rapidly as they deploy short-range ballistic missiles near the Polish border, which appear to be armed and ready to fire right inside of Kaliningrad, and we also have news about the NATO counter-operation currently underway to defend the NATO front lines. So it seems like today things have taken a sharp turn for the worst, which is something we were fearing the most. So let's jump right into our first article, which goes to 5 News. And right now, this is our biggest story of the day. We can see that air raid sirens are sounding in the city of Chelm, which is in eastern Poland, as Russian drones are reported in the vicinity of the Polish-Ukrainian border. So this is air raid alerts going off right now inside of Poland, a NATO country, and we're seeing this for one of the first times. And remember, they just got attacked like 2 days ago by Russia by multiple drones. It's believed to be 19 or more drones that attacked Poland the other day, and right now we're seeing air raid sirens going off yet again in Poland. So it looks like the NATO in action has generally emboldened Putin to go even further here, and we're seeing that today. So let's take a look at the video. And there you have it, air raid sirens right now in eastern Poland. We're seeing this today, this morning, as a result of drones that are believed to have gone maybe into Polish airspace or they severely threaten Polish airspace. But whatever the case is, the F-16s were deployed once again in the Polish airspace, and they were designed to shoot these things down that might have been coming into the area. So right now, we do not know for a fact if Russian drones truly went into Polish airspace, but air raid sirens were seen going off this morning as this was occurring. So very big news right there. But jumping into our next article here, this one goes to BNO News Live. And in the midst of the air raid sirens going off, we also saw emergency alerts being sent to residents in parts of eastern Poland, and it said in English, "Warning, threat of an air attack, exercise special caution, follow the instructions of the authorities, and await further announcements." And right here you can see, there was the message sent out to citizens in eastern Poland this morning, and also that was happening at the exact same time the air raid sirens were going off as well. So it looks like Poland is taking these potential incursions very seriously now, and they're starting to send out these warnings as a part of their defensive operations against the drones. So also very big news. But jumping to our next post here, this one goes to AZ Intel. And we do get some more information about this alleged drone incursion in Poland, and we can see that Poland has canceled an emergency alert near its Ukrainian border after a brief activation of the sirens, which is the first such instance of that, which is why it's so historic and why that video was so important to watch. It also remains unclear if Russian drones entered Polish airspace, according to what we're hearing right now. So that is what I mentioned earlier. Right now we're waiting for confirmation if these drones actually entered Polish airspace. Right now, the Polish are kind of keeping that down low, and we don't know that right now. But the fact they issued the sirens, they also issued the emergency alerts, I would say the odds are somewhat decent that a drone might have entered their airspace. And also, after you see our next article in just a minute, I think your odds of that are going to go up tremendously. Because moving into our next post here, this one goes to AZ Intel once again, and we've also heard that while Poland's issuing alerts, authorities in northern Romania are issuing shelter-in-place orders as well, warning residents of the risk of Russian drones landing on Romanian territory. And right here you can see there is their version of alert going out in Romania right now to warn the citizens to take shelter, keep calm, and also be alert to the possibility of falling objects in the airspace. So not only is Poland having a situation, but Romania is as well, and the Romanian one is a little bit more serious, as we're hearing in our next post right here, which goes to BNO News Live. And we can see right here a statement from Romania's defense ministry. They said a Russian drone flew into Romanian airspace. That's apparently confirmed right now, and it disappeared from radar while being tracked by F-16s. And right here you can see a statement from the Romanian Defense Ministry, and it apparently is confirmed that a Russian drone entered Romanian airspace, and it was apparently lost on radar while it was being tracked by fighter jets. So this is a confirmed incident right here. Romania has been intruded by Russian drones, and Poland's also believed to have been intruded as well, but right now we're waiting for confirmation. So we're seeing multiple NATO countries this morning under alerts from Russian drones, which is a huge incident right now. So jumping into our next article, this one goes to Geo Insider. And right here in this post, we can see footage of the F-16s flying over Tulcea County, which is in Romania, and patrolling the skies after a Russian drone recently breached Romanian airspace. So we actually have video evidence here showing the F-16 response to the drone incursion by Russia. So let's take a look at the video and see them flying over. And there you can see there's the F-16 flying over. And this is Tulcea County in Romania, a NATO country. So as you can see, it looks like families trying to enjoy their day here in a NATO country, which is Romania, and now they have F-16s flying right over their head as Russia is threatening their entire security of their entire country. So we are living in a rough state right now, and it looks like the escalations are jumping up dramatically that we're seeing right now. So that is the big news right now coming out of Romania, but also we have more information here in our next post, which goes to Max 25. And we can see right here that Romanian F-16s apparently did not eliminate the Russian drone, according to some information we have, and the fighter jets were tracking it 20 kilometers southwest of Siali Veci when it disappeared from radar, and the military said that the drone did not fly over populated areas and did not pose an immediate threat to the safety of the Romanian population. But right now that remains to be seen, because we saw F-16s flying over what appeared to be some type of carnival or fair or something like that. It could be possible the F-16 was simply heading to the interception site. That's possible as well, but right now we are not really sure of the exact details of this, but we did see here that apparently the F-16s in Romania did not shoot down these drones, which brings me back to another concerning point. It appears to be that multiple NATO countries right on the front lines with Russia does not have effective ways to shoot down these drones, which are Shahed Iranian drones. There's apparently no way to shoot them down effectively because it looks like we're failing to shoot them down as they're coming in. So a massive security failure right here by NATO forces, and this needs to be addressed rapidly because it looks like Russia is escalating faster than we expected. So jumping into our next post here, this one goes to Geo Insider. And also this is happening right now in Romania. Just a few minutes ago, we're also getting a brand new emergency alert issued for northern Tulcea County, which is the same area, and warning the population about the possible fall of objects from the air, and it's unclear whether this is an error or a new incursion happening for the second time. So we're waiting on more updates on this. This is just happening as well, but we're seeing a second major alert in Romania about a possible drone incursion, a new drone incursion actually. So also big news. But jumping into our next article, this one goes to Max 25, and we're seeing something very concerning right now inside of Belarus, right on the border with Lithuania. So as you can see right here, there appears to be an image taken by a civilian on the ground in Belarus. This appears to be in the city of Hradna, also known as Grodno by some Belarusians, and this right here is a military vehicle moving through those streets, and someone was brave enough to take a picture of the military vehicle moving through the city. So to give you an idea of exactly where this is, let me show you the map real quick. This is the geolocation on this footage. There is Hradna right there in the middle. You can see it highlighted in red. I'm going to zoom in on it right now so you can see that. There is Hradna right here, and it's literally right on the border with Poland, and that military vehicle was seen going through the streets of this city right here. So very interesting to see that right on the border of Poland. But also jumping back to our last post here, we do have some more information here contained in the Telegram thread here about where this image right here came from. So let's take a look at that and examine what they were saying. And you can see up here at the very top, the person that posted that photo, which is taking a bigger risk by doing that, said that it's just in Grodno, which is the city we just looked at in Belarus, and they say the entire road was blocked with these military vehicles, and they want to stay with relatives for another week, but they think it's now time to pack their bags. So this individual here, at least according to what I'm interpreting from this, appears to be a citizen of Lithuania right here, and they say they're now leaving Belarus as a result of that sighting right there of the military vehicles. And also you can see right here, some people are saying that they should delete that quickly because they're going to be in some deep trouble, and honestly they might be in some deep trouble. That is a huge OPSEC violation right there, but also very good to see a image coming from Belarus showing one of these military vehicles right on the border with Poland. But with that, folks, it's now time to move on to our next article here, and this one goes to Timothy Milanov, and he shows us something very disturbing right now. We are seeing this inside of Kaliningrad. The Russians have deployed short-range ballistic missiles, also known as Iskanders, on a highway in the Kaliningrad region near the Polish border, according to Ukrainian media. And the Iskander-M, which is a short-range ballistic missile system, it can reach Warsaw from Kaliningrad in just 3 minutes. That is just 3 minutes that missile can get there. And what's disturbing about this, folks, these missiles appear to be armed and ready to fire, and they're on the highway right here in Kaliningrad. So extremely disturbing to see this, by the way. And let's take a look at the video and see this thing literally on the highway in Kaliningrad right now, and it appears to be armed. And look at that, a highway in Kaliningrad right here. We are seeing there's an Iskander missile on the back of this truck right here, and it appears to be in the firing position. That is insane to see that. And also you can see there's traffic on the other side of the road right there, just going about their normal business. But it appears to be this entire side of the highway has been closed off as a result of these deployments. So not only are we seeing Zapad 2025 inside of Belarus, we're also seeing Kaliningrad deploy military assets as well. So I don't know what that's about. That seems to be very disturbing. I'm sure Warsaw is tracking that very closely because that is extremely concerning to see that. But jumping into our next post here, this one goes to Dominic. And a huge shout out to Dominic, by the way, for this geolocation geolocation. Right here, he has a rough location of the vehicle that we just saw in that video, and we have the coordinates to it as well, exactly where it is inside of Kaliningrad. So you can see here are the defining features that Dominic used to actually geolocate this. It appears to be the treetops and also the side of the trees right there hanging down toward the roadway. And you can see there is that same image right there being pointed out on Yannick's maps. So let's jump right into that geolocation here, and here it is right here on the map. So you can see right here in the middle of the screen, you're looking at Kaliningrad right there, and right where you see that orange marker in the center right there, that is where this geolocation was actually taken from. So that is the main highway, the E28, running right through Kaliningrad, and it's literally right smack dab in the middle of this enclave here, which is a Russian enclave. And you can see there it is right there in the center. Zooming in here, you can see it is closest to Talpaki, it looks like, over here on the right or the left, and it appears to be right next to a hotel right on the side of the highway. So this is where that's been set up. They've blocked off the entire right side of the E28 for this incident right here. So as you can see, here is Poland down below. You can see there is Warsaw right down there, and also these Iskanders can reach Warsaw in just 3 minutes from that location. So very disturbing to see that right there, and also very good to have that geolocation showing exactly where that is. But jumping into our next article here, this one goes to Military News Ukraine. And also we are hearing more about the NATO counter operation to Zapad 2025, and right now we're hearing that NATO's launched Operation Eastern Sentry, as we discussed last night, to protect the airspace of Poland and the Baltic states following incidents with the Russian UAVs. And obviously today that's apparently much needed because we're seeing apparently Romania and Poland being threatened. We're also hearing that a French Air Force A400 transport aircraft arrived at the Minsk Mazowiecki Air Base, delivering weapons for the Rafale fighters, which are currently at the airbase's territory. And we're also seeing these massive deployments. So let's take a look at the video and see some of these deployments showing up right now in the area of Poland. So I'll be honest with y'all, not too much to see right here, but as you can see, there are some munitions being carried around on this runway right here. They're also being loaded into aircraft, and there's that A400 right there taking off, and you can see there it is landing as well. And they appear to be servicing some F-16s, or actually that might be the Rafale actually. You can see it right there, and also you can see they are loading armaments onto that aircraft. So not too much to see right there, but just a glimpse into the NATO counter operation that's currently going on right now as Russia is still threatening NATO countries. But we are now moving into our next article here, and this one goes to Alexandria C4, and we've also heard that German troops have begun exercises aimed at rapidly deploying forces from Germany to Lithuania, according to NATO. And as you can see right here, there are multiple different operations currently underway by the German armed forces. So of these multiple different operations which are currently underway by the German armed forces, we can see down here in the bottom left, there is Grand Eagle, which is the exercise and transport of personnel and material in Lithuania. And we can also see there's also sea aspects of this as well, and also there's other things going on as well, including airspace security. So it looks like a full-scale operation is underway by Germany right now, in addition to the Operation Sentinel as well. So we are seeing that as of today. But with that, folks, we're moving into our next article here, and this one goes to Alexandria C4, and we finally heard a statement from the United States placing blame on Russia and calling it unacceptable and dangerous. This is one of the first statements we've actually heard directly condemning the Russians for this attack. And the interesting part is it did not come from the United States president. It came from the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and Rubio says the drone incursion in Poland shouldn't have happened, and he calls it unacceptable and dangerous. So the Secretary of State is making a pretty direct statement here condemning the attack, but we're not hearing anything from the U.S. president about that so far. He's really sort of skirting the issue entirely, which is kind of interesting to take that position while NATO allies are under attack by Russia. But at least we did get a statement from the Secretary of State right now, and maybe that will expand to the executive, like for example the president. Maybe he will make a statement condemning this, but honestly that statement is really needed right now, because we need to deter the Russians from further escalations, because obviously they're taking this as a green light to go even further. So we need to hear more out of the executive branch at this point. It's becoming prudent that the president makes a direct statement condemning the attack. But jumping into our next one here, this one goes to Anton Yeroshenko. And also, folks, jumping away real quick from our news about the NATO developments, we've also seen here a new Ukrainian attack on a new Russian oil infrastructure, and we can see that according to Russian Telegram channels, they are reporting a large fire at the Novo-Ufimsky oil refinery in Russian Ufa after a drone attack. So it appears to be a direct hit. It looks like Ukraine is still smacking the Russian oil refineries, and they are still getting hit hard. So let's take a look at our two videos we have on this attack and see the Ukrainian drone hitting this facility. So right there, you can see there is drone number one coming in to hit this oil refinery right there, and there is the direct impact right there on the site of the refinery in Ufa. And of course, that was a very large refinery, as you can see by the mere scale of it right here, a very large hit. So that was our first video, but let's take a look at our second video. So as you can see right here, another angle of this attack. You can see right there, there is the big plume of smoke coming off of it, and there is the fire erupting, and also it looks like secondary explosions on the site of this oil refinery. So a very big hit by Ukraine yet again today that we're seeing right here on camera. So very interesting to see that. But also, we have one more thing to cover, folks, and this one goes to Status 6 military and conflict news. And right now we are hearing the U.S. president is making an announcement on Truth Social on sanctions against Russia, and he says he is ready to move forward with them all if NATO countries will do the same and stop buying oil from Russia. So honestly, it's more stalling. I'm not going to make any like bones about this. It's all stalling. It's a new excuse not to put sanctions on Russia, which is extremely weak right now. We're seeing literally Russia launch attacks on NATO countries, and we're still not sanctioning the Russian Federation. So in my opinion, this is a failure of diplomacy right now when it comes to dealing with our adversaries, but that's just my personal opinion on that, so I'll leave it up to y'all what y'all think. But let's take a look here at this post from the U.S. president about the issue. And we can see right here, the U.S. president said, "I am ready to do major sanctions on Russia when all NATO nations have agreed and started to do the same thing, and when all NATO nations stop buying oil from Russia. And as you know, NATO's commitment to win has been far less than 100%, and the purchase of Russian oil by some has been shocking, and it greatly weakens your negotiating position and bargaining power over Russia. Anyway, I'm ready to go when you are, just say when, and I believe that this plus NATO as a group placing 50 to 100% tariffs on China to be fully withdrawn after the war with Russia and Ukraine is ended will also be of great help in ending this deadly but ridiculous war, and China has a strong control and even grip over Russia, and these powerful tariffs will break the grip." He said, "This is not Trump's war. It would have never started if I was president. It is Biden and Zelensky's war." Also notice, folks, he didn't name Putin there, even though Putin literally started the war, which is baffling to me. It's clearly Putin's war that he started, but the president is still refusing to say that, even in his tweet right here. So baffling. But the president also said, "I am only here to stop the war and save thousands of Russian and Ukrainian lives, and if NATO does as I say, the war will end quickly, and all of those lives will be saved, and if not, you are just wasting my time, and the time and energy and money of the United States. Thank you for your attention to the matter." So it's stalling, folks. That is stalling once again. He promised to put sanctions on the Russian Federation a while back when Russia showed up to the United States in Alaska. He said he's going to put sanctions on them. We still have not seen secondary sanctions, and now we're seeing a refusal to name this for what it is, which is Putin's war. This is not Zelensky's war. This is Putin's war. You don't see Putin's name mentioned right here at all. So I don't know what the hell is going on with this, folks. It's honestly disappointing to see that. Very disappointing. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And if you have something to say about it, go down to the comments below and let us know your opinion on the matter. Because certainly that is extremely confusing, extremely irritating. And the U.S. position needs to change on this quickly to try to deter Putin from going any further. So it's just a whole mess right now. But that's what you're seeing coming out of the United States. But with that, folks, that is actually our last post of the video. So if you enjoyed the video and found it informative, smack the like button and also subscribe to the channel as well if you already haven't, if you're new to the channel. And once again, we appreciate all the support of the channel, and we genuinely appreciate everybody being here and choosing us as your source of news. And we will be watching very closely throughout the rest of the day to see exactly what else is happening, because it looks like things are heating up dramatically today. And if an emergency stream is needed, we will run that, or if not, we will be here at 10 p.m. Eastern again tonight to cover the rest of the events throughout the day. Also, if you want to support the channel financially, you can do so on our Patreon page, and the link is in the description below for Patreon, where you can go over there and sign up for even a $5 a month membership. That is still a huge help to the channel, because we are crowdfunded by the viewers, and it's you, the viewers, that make all this possible. And we sincerely appreciate every single one of you for helping to keep this operation going. But with that, folks, we will see you all tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, if an emergency stream doesn't happen, of course. But in that case, we will see you then. And with that, bye-bye for now.